Beloved brothers and sisters, in our spiritual life, in our desire to be in constant relationship with our God, in our efforts to make it to heaven, in our joy to imitate the blessed Lord Jesus Christ, we have 3 important days in the year. 3 important holy days that informs and that helps to continue to inflame the desire that we have to follow Jesus. Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday. Que nuestra vida espiritual, en nuestro deseo de imitar al Señor Jesucristo, hay 3 días en el año que nos ayuda a hacer presente la vida de Jesús, de caminar cerca con Él. El Jueves Santo, el Viernes Santo y el Sábado de la Gloria. These days are being preceded this year, like every other year, by our Lenten observances. 40 days of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Many people during Lent made spiritual decisions to draw closer to our God. There are some who decided to attend Holy Mass every day. There are some who decided to do Via Crucis every day. There are some who said, I will deny myself something during these days of Lent. Mucha gente, de una manera u otra, hicieron algo para preparar para estos 3 días. Algunos ayunaban, algunos oraban, algunos iban a la Santa Misa cada día, algunos estaban siempre pendientes de los pobres y de los marginados. Yesterday was the first of the 3 holy days. We celebrated the liturgy of Holy Thursday, commemoration of the Lord's Supper. Jesus took us to the upper room where he gave us his body and blood in the appearances of bread and wine. This is my body. This is my blood. Yesterday, Father Ed said that the Lord wishes to serve us, to give us himself. The Lord wishes to be at our service. Que el Señor Jesús en la última cena quería servirnos. Él nos llevó allí en la última cena para darnos un regalo grande, un regalo grandísimo de su cuerpo y de su sangre. Today, Jesus is taking us to the cross. Jesús nos está llevando en este Viernes Santo a la cruz. The cross constitutes the central point of our celebration this day. The cross is at the center of our liturgy. It's at the center of our spiritual life. is at the center of our life. And the cross is also at the center of anyone who wishes to be a disciple of Jesus. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 16, verse 24, if you wish to be a disciple of mine, you need to deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. Jesús nos llevó a la cruz. La cruz está en el centro de nuestra vida cristiana, en el centro de nuestra liturgia, en el centro de nuestra vida, en el centro de nuestro discipulado. Jesús decía en Mateo 16:24, si quieres ser un discípulo mío, tienes que cargar con tu cruz y me sigas. He's taking us to the cross. And very important, in the Gospel of John that we read also yesterday, during the Mass of the Lord's Supper, we read from John chapter 13, verses 1 to 15. The story of the Last Supper, where Jesus washed the feet of the disciples and gave them the great commandment of love. Love one another as I have loved you. Today, we are reading also from John's Gospel, the Passion narrative according to John, chapters 18 and 19, telling us how John presented the story of the suffering servant of God that we have heard in our first reading from Isaiah chapter 52 and chapter 53. The story of that suffering servant who could not open his mouth in the midst of persecution, in the midst of discrimination, in the midst of harsh treatment. He did not open his mouth. He rather looked unto him who was able to save him, as the author of the letter to the Hebrews indicated in our second reading from Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 to 16, beginning also from chapter 5, verses 7 to 9. That when he was in the flesh, Jesus cried out to him who was able to save him with tears, with lamentations. He cried out to his Father. Muy interesante que la narrativa de pasión que tenemos hoy viene de Evangelio según San Juan, como ayer también leímos en el Evangelio según San Juan lo que ocurrió durante la última cena en Juan 13, 1 hasta 15, donde Jesús se bajó y lavó los pies de sus apóstoles. Y nos dio un mandamiento nuevo, que hemos de amar unos a otros como Él nos ha amado. When you read the Gospel of John, you discover that something important is happening. There is a connection between heaven and earth. You see the story of a holy God coming down to share the destiny and the situations of a sinful humanity. Jesus in John chapter 1 verse 1 is God. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and that Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. You see him coming down to humanity to participate in our difficulties, in our situations, in all that define us except sin. Vemos que en el Evangelio de Juan vemos un Dios santo, un Dios que está en las alturas bajándose para compartir la suerte de todos nosotros. The cross is very evident in the Gospel of John. Jesus in John gives us a lesson of how we can carry our own crosses. The attitude of Jesus, the attitude of the blessed Lord in regard with suffering. How did Jesus face his own suffering? Cómo el Señor confrontó su sufrimiento, su cruz. En Juan capítulo 19, versículo 17 que hemos leído en la Pasión, la Sagrada Escritura decía, Él cargó con su cruz. The scripture said in John 19:17, Jesus carried his own cross. We have our crosses. Your cross may be different from mine. Tu cruz es diferente de la mía. Tienes tu cruz, yo tengo la mía. Todo el mundo tiene su cruz. Your own cross is different from the cross of the other person. But Jesus carried his cross and started his journey to Golgotha. He carried his cross. But while he was carrying his cross, he allowed other people to come to his assistance. You cannot carry your cross alone. You carry your cross, yes, but you may not carry it alone. Jesus allowed people to come to his help. Our young men and women, this is where we can make a stop to give little admonitions to you, the younger generation. You have problems. Don't think that you can solve all your problems. Allow other people to help you. Allow other people to enlighten you as you face life challenges. In the moments of your transition from primary school to high school, allow people to give you suggestions. When you are transiting from high school to college, you are facing new realities. You will make new friends. There will be new challenges. Don't bear those challenges alone. Jesus allowed Simon of Cyrene to help him carry his cross. When we do the Via Crucis, the way of the cross, Station 8, Simon of Cyrene helped Jesus. After Jesus fell the second time, he allowed his mother to come closer to him. Stations of the Cross, number 4. The Blessed Mother Mary came to the Son. Jesus met his Blessed Mother. Veronica wiped the face of Jesus. Very important, beloved brothers and sisters. Simon of Cyrene helped Jesus. The Blessed Mother Mary was there. Veronica was there. The woman of Jerusalem, that is number 8. And then Simon of Cyrene was number 6. The women of Jerusalem wept, and Jesus spoke with them. Jesús dejó que la gente le acompañara, le ayudaron cuando él estaba sufriendo. Tenemos que dejar y aceptar ayuda de nuestros papás, de nuestros hermanos, de la iglesia, de nuestros maestros, para que podamos llegar al destino de nuestro Dios. And when he was carrying his cross, Jesus spoke out. When Pilate questioned him, he answered some of the relevant questions, not all of them. He answered. He opened his mouth. He had a conversation with the soldiers. He told them, I am thirsty. He had a conversation with the two thieves on the cross. He had a conversation with John, the beloved disciple. He had a conversation with his own mother. Woman, behold your son. Él hablaba. La juventud de hoy les cuesta hablar. Ellos quieren entrar en su entorno. Quieren entrar en su entorno. In su, look, what we call in English, in their enclave. They want their own private world. You are in the family, you are in the house. You put this, what I don't know what it is. Put one the other place. Nobody hears you. You don't want to hear anybody. You are in your own private world. You don't want to converse. You are with your mom and your dad, and you are in communication with somebody in China. You don't want to talk with anybody. You are in communication with people who may not help you to solve that particular problem. Our young men and women, you need to talk. You need to tell mom and dad what is happening to you. Jesus spoke a very wonderful attitude when you carry your crosses. Tienes que hablar, tienes que escuchar, tienes que conversar con papá y mamá. If you're a young man here and you have not spoken with your dad and your mom in the last 2 days, you are not doing well. And then, in this beautiful gospel, we can learn something very important about the Blessed Mother Mary and about women. Today, it seems that our church, the church of men at that time, they decided to abandon Jesus. They fled. Peter betrayed Jesus. Peter denied Jesus. Judas betrayed Jesus. The apostles, all of them ran away. The men decided to run away. But thanks be to God, there were women who stood firm at the feet of the cross. The church of men may decide to run away. There should be in our church today a contemplative church, a church that continues to support our blessed Lord with her silence, a contemplative church, a church that prays, a church of solidarity, not a church where we abandon our ministry, our mission, because we are facing trials and difficulties. We need a church that contemplates, that stays with Jesus. Una iglesia contemplativa, una iglesia que ora, una iglesia que está a los pies de la iglesia. This is the church that we need to promote in our own time today. We need to promote that church, because this church cost Jesus everything. His life, we saw it, that it was for the sake of the church, of humanity, that Jesus died. St. John Chrysostom indicated that when he was pierced with a sword, blood and water, as we saw in John's Gospel, chapter 19, verse 34, that came out means the source of the church's life, baptism and the mysteries. Because of us, Jesus was pierced. Because of us, Jesus died on the cross. That is where we receive our birthplace. On the cross. On the cross. If you are having difficulties and problems, go back to the cross. That is the origin of your life. That is the origin of my life. That is the origin of my spirituality. That is where you locate the origin of your faithfulness. I conclude by reading this reflection by Cardinal Sarah. He said, for us priests, the place of a priest is on the cross. When he celebrates Mass, he is at the source of his whole life, namely the cross. Celibacy is a concrete means that permits us to live this mystery of the cross in our lives. Celibacy inscribes the cross in our very flesh. That is why celibacy is intolerable for the modern world. Celibacy is a scandal for the modern people because the cross is a scandal. I say it also to marriage. The cross is the foundation of your fidelity. If you run away from the cross, you will not be faithful to your spouse. May the Lord help us to embrace the cross, to venerate the cross, and to love Jesus, and to carry our crosses, and to help other people to bear their crosses.